hard time in the lockup. No appeal and your baby mama knocked up. You only win with a father, you gotta survive. You better have some hands to get knotted up. Seeing friends turn to foes, you can't trust nobody. Every day is a test, and you gotta have heart, and you gotta be smart, and you can't be a mark, and a blame in your heart.
Welcome to TubbsTV. And of course, I'm Tubbs. Where it is what it is, unless you handle your biz. Alright, so what my channel is about is my rise and fall in the street game. Anytime that you out there in the streets, it don't matter how hard you hustle, how high you rise, man, you can lose it all in the blink of a die, in the blink of an eye. So you can make millions of dollars, and believe me when I tell you, man, I made millions of dollars out there in the game. I'm not glorifying the lifestyle, because for every dollar that I made out there, it was somebody else that suffered behind that. So when you hear the stories that I tell, I'm just telling you from my point of view, from the things that I experienced. I sold a lot of drugs coming primarily from Los Angeles to Kansas City, Missouri, and I did a lot more than that, because a lot of things come with that territory. When you make your living by hook and crook, and especially if you making your living trying to get hunks and chunks instead of them twos and fews, something is definitely gonna come with that. You think you're just gonna get out there and make that kind of money and you're just gonna get a free ride? That ain't gonna happen. So a lot of times you're gonna hear me tell stories about things that I've been through on the streets, things that my partners went through, and things that I went through in prison. So today I want to tell you what to expect if you take a loss and you end up actually in prison, and what to expect when you first go there. I remember when I was getting off the bus, I was a little confused. I ain't never been there. I don't know anything about it other than just what I seen on TV. So a lot of it was trial and error. The one thing that I was determined to do while I was in there, I said I'm not gonna do nothing in jail that I can't tell my sons about. So if you go to jail, whatever it is you do there, I promise you, it will follow you to the streets. So if you think you're gonna go in there and be an undercover crackhead or undercover whatever it is that you be involved in, your family will learn about it, okay? Because men, believe it or not, people talk about women gossiping. Men gossip way more than women, and they can't wait to get out and tell your family members exactly what you about when you in there. So I remember when I first got in, like I told you, I didn't know what to expect. So I get out of orientation, and they got us in this building, and you have to stay there for the first, week. And the reason why you have to stay there for that first week is because you got to go through your shots. Because it's mandatory that you get shots. They got to make sure that you're vaccinated, and they got to also determine what level of dorm that you're gonna be in. Okay, so me, I was in a level 5 dorm. Level 5 dorm is one of the most violent dorms that you can be in. So automatically, when you first get there, they basically know who you are and what dorm that you go into. So they're gonna put you in this cell with maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 individuals, where y'all gonna be like in maybe about a 10-foot by 10-foot cell where y'all locked down at night. And so you don't know these guys and they don't know you. The worst thing you can do is get there and do what I call reckless jeffing. You don't want to go in there and be too friendly. You don't want to go in there and try to be too tough. You just want to go in there and be yourself. So having said that, I remember when I first went in, I had family members that still, love me and everything else, and they made sure they looked out for me. So I was one of the fortunate ones to be able to go to the store. And the guys that I was in that particular cell with, they didn't have any canteen items. And so I'm not the kind of individual that, I'm gonna eat something that night and you got three other individuals in there and they don't have nothing to eat. So I offered them something to eat, and out of the 3 individuals in there, 2 of them was grateful and 1 of them was not. And that's the story that I'm gonna get to today. And the name of this story is called Frog. We're gonna get to a story for the day, which is called Frog. So when I got in the joint, I didn't really know, like I said, what to expect. So I've been in the county jail for almost 2 years trying to fight my case. I was in there for assault on the police, where I shot a police trying to get away. I actually did get away, but I left behind some DNA where they shot me, and that's another story for another day. But this particular story is to tell you what to expect or what I went through when I got in there. So after sitting in the county jail for a couple of years, I pretty much, gained a lot of weight. I was like 245 pounds. A lot of guys was in the county jail just trying to lift weights because they were going home. They was only in there for 6 months, a year, and they was trying to, hit the streets and look good for their girls and just get themselves together, so they get out there and have what they call that penitentiary glow. So I knew I was going. I knew that I was guilty for what I did, and I knew that I wasn't going to get out of it. My whole goal was just to be able to get sentenced to something where I have some kind of freedom, where I get to spend some time, with my family members and see my kids. But unfortunately, if you out there in the game, you may not even get that chance. You might not get that chance at all, So that's the story for another day also. But anyway, back to the story, Frog. So this particular time, when I had canteen items and they didn't have none, we cooked up that night, kicked it, and when I say we kicked it, we talked about the streets, a lot of stuff that we went through, and just because you in there and you share your stories about a lot of things that you went through, everybody ain't glad for you. Everybody that you tell a lot of things that you've been through, even whether you locked up or whether you're not, they're not happy for you. So just because 3 people listen to the same story, 2 of them might enjoy the story, and 1 of them, envy might stick in, and he might make up his mind that, man, it don't matter what you talking about, he fucking can't stand you. And that's that. And so even though he never gave me no indication that, he disliked me, later on, it was evident. So the next day, we were told that we were moving to a different wing. So I was going to one house, A wing, and all of us was all going to one house, but we were going to separate wings inside A wing. So Frog was going to B wing. So when I get to one house, A wing, I'm looking for my pictures and everything else that my girl sent me. So she sent me these little pictures and the little negligees and everything else, that they would let you get in from the county jail. And most of the time when you get to prison, they take them. But I happened to run across a cool guard. He was like, man, you got a lot of time, Tubbs, go ahead and keep your pictures, man, because you're going to need them. So when he say you're going to need them, you're going to need them sooner or later, So we get in there, and I'm looking through my box, and I'm noticing all these pictures are gone. Now, I'm not finna do no lame shit like go around asking nobody, have y'all seen my pictures? Of course somebody's seen them pictures. So I had a few partners that was in there, and I just put the word out, man. If any of y'all see this girl right here, because he left 1 or 2 of them behind, just let me know. I just want to know who got them. And I told him who I suspected had them, but you can't just go out and falsely accuse somebody when you don't know for a fact what's going on. So when I first get in there, like I said, I'm new. I really don't know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm kind of out of shape. Not kind of out of shape. I flat out was fucking out of shape. A lot of guys, like I said, they was in there. I'm in there studying them law books. When I wasn't studying law books, shit, I'm sitting in the cell eating summer sausage. Shit, I'm depressed. I'm going to fucking prison, man. Shit, I ain't thinking about lifting no goddamn weights, man. I'm thinking about how can I get out this motherfucker, So I put the word out, and I didn't hear nothing for about 2 or 3 days. But then I go to breakfast one day, and I seen some guys at the table, and Frog was sitting there, and he was snickering, and he said, Yeah, man, how our girl doing? Now, common sense told me, this nigga got them pictures. I know goddamn well he got them. But what am I gonna do about this shit? You know, I ain't got no shank. And then I'm looking over at Frog. He's about 6'1", he was cut up like a razor, you know. He'd been in and out the joint. He looked like he was in good shape. Wasn't quite sure if I could whoop that motherfucker, to tell you the truth. I don't know if I could really get him, you know. He looked like he was in pretty good shape. It wasn't that I was scared of the motherfucker, but nobody wants to get their ass whooped. Now, whether you want to admit that or not, I'm going to admit the truth. So my whole point of this video, this introduction video, and tell you the truth, is how it really was. You know, like I said, it is what it is unless you handle your biz. So, I thought about it that night on what I was going to do about this situation. And I was like, man, maybe I should scout around and try to get me a shank. But then the next morning when I go to chow, it was this dude named Wallace. And Wallace is a big old fat dude, man. He's such a scary motherfucker, man. I really didn't like talking to him when he talked. He was a coward, and his jaw shook when he was talking. He was like, I know who got the pictures. I know who got them pictures. And he was scared shitless of Frog. And like I said, man, Frog was, you know, he was in shape, but he had a lot of them dudes buffalo, you know. And my daddy always told me, a man can't do no more to you than you can do to him. And so that stuck, you know, in my mind. So I was like, yeah. So, put my tray down, and I made up my mind, man. You know, this nigga just gonna have to whip my ass because I'm not finna start establishing that I'm gonna let a motherfucker get over on me and ain't gonna be no consequences and no repercussions. If the only consequences and repercussions is I'm gonna get an ass whooping, then they gonna have to understand that that's how it's gonna be. But the only thing that you need to understand if you go to whoop Tubbs' ass, is that I'm not saying it can't be done, but not before you miss a few plugs out your ass. Because I'm a biter. And when I tell you you're gonna miss a few plugs out your ass, trust and believe this, you are. So, I go up in the wing, and hell, like I said, I'm new. You ain't supposed to even go up in another wing. I was in A house, and I went up in B. So, big dude go up in there, and he go up on the top tier, and like I said, he's shaking it. Goddamn double chin and shaking. He's in that cell right there, he's in that cell right there, and he burned out. I'm like, look at this kind motherfucker, man. How the hell did he do time? You know? If he wasn't so damn fat and disgusting, they'd have bent him over and fucked him. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but it's the truth. So, I go up on the tier, and I knock on the cell. You can't see in the cell because what they do is they got a towel and they allow you to have that towel. And if the guard knock, they want you to pull that towel back so they can look in there and make sure you're okay or make sure ain't nothing precarious going on up in there. So I knock on the cell. I see the towel move just slightly. And when it moved slightly, I heard something tearing off the wall. I heard like some tape tearing off the wall. And I said to myself, yeah, bitch ass motherfucker got them pictures. So when he finally opened the cell, I step in there, and he said, man, what's up? I said, nigga, I want to know what's up. What's up with my pictures? You know? He said, man, I don't know what you talking about. So he jump off the bunk. We kind of square up, and I lift the pillow up like that because he was on the top bunk, and there the pictures go. So I'm expecting a fight right then and there, but that didn't happen. He burned out the cell. When he burned out the cell, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. I don't think he's scared of me. Oh, this motherfucker going to get a shank. Hell no, I can't let him go get the shank. Because once he get the shank, he already in fucking shape. And he gonna have a knife. Oh, hell no. So I come straight behind him on that. But instead of going to get a shank, he did something weird as hell. He go downstairs and I seen something in his hand, but it was this toothbrush. So he go into the area, you know, in the common area where you brush your teeth. And he turned around towards me and he say, well, you got your pictures back? It made me so motherfucking mad that he disrespect me like that and had the audacity just to say, you got your pictures back? Man, when I tell you I knocked the shit out that motherfucker, man, I ain't never in my whole life, I had a lot of fights, but I ain't never dropped a motherfucker with one punch. But I hit him so goddamn hard he hit the ground. and I heard a dude behind me say, "Stomping Tubbs, stomping. Stomping Tubbs, stomping." But I didn't. Looking back,
Finish him.
I should have stomped his ass. But I did, like I said, I didn't stomp him. So he was like, "Man, let's go to the cell." So I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's go to the cell." But the dude behind me was Jose. They used to call Jose the champ because he got out of prison and he came up in the fight game. And the only reason why he was back in prison was he was on his way to Don King's training camp and caught another case for a robbery. We'll talk about that later on too. But anyway, at the time, I didn't even know Jose, and I didn't know how the hell he knew my name. But come to find out, my best friend Big Dave, that was his partner, and Dave told him to look out for me too. So, make a long story short, he go up in the cell, and I could look in his face that he was like, "Man, you tripping, man. I'm going to cell with that dude." And I'm like, "Fuck that." And the reason why I went up in that cell was for two reasons. I want them all to know that I ain't never afraid to square up with another man, and two, I had the advantage. And the reason why I say I had the advantage is because dude already figured once we get in that cell, what they do is they put you in the cell and they lock the door. And
Round one, fight.
you have to fight to get up out of there. But I knew that once I was locked in the cell and I was fighting for my life, I knew goddamn well I was coming up out of there. And I don't care if you put me in there with a gorilla, I'm gonna figure it out. So soon we get in that cell, the first mistake that he made was he started talking. And I knew that I had to go ahead and act fast. So the first thing I did, I hit him. Wham! And we going at it. We going at it. So like I said, I hit him. Wham! And we going at it in that cell. So he giving it to me, but I'm giving it back, you know? It's all body shots. Ain't neither one of us really hitting each other in the face. I'm surprised, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was, man, but we just steady boom, 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 boom. But the mistake that I made was thinking that I could go blow to blow with this dude because, hey, I was handling my business until about a minute into the fight. And after that, man, a goddamn light just, it was like you driving down the street and your car just run out of fucking gas. And I said to myself, "Oh shit, this shit ain't working out quite like I thought." So the first thing I had to do, like I said, I was a big motherfucker. So I grabbed this skinny ass man and I held him. And the whole time he said, "Motherfucker, you better," and I squeezed him. He said, "God damn it, you better." And every time he talked, I squeezed harder and harder and harder and harder. And he was fighting to get loose, and I ended up falling my fat ass on him. Bam! Now you gotta deal with that weight too. So every time he started talking, I squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. And I'm literally squeezing the life out of him. And I'm squeezing the life out of him because I'm out of breath. And I damn sure ain't finna let him go. But the whole time, man, he can't breathe. He can't breathe. He can't breathe. And I'm saying to myself, good. That sounds like a good thing to me. Cause I'm gonna hold your ass like in this position until you can't breathe. And, you know, that was my whole intention. And we locked like this. And he's like, I can't. And he's trying to say I can't breathe. And I'm not about to let him go. Because like I said, he was in great shape and I wasn't. So I lock on him like that, man. And after about 5 minutes, man, he passed out. Wow. So Jose said, "Man, you're killing him. You're killing him. You're going to catch a case." Well, hell, ain't that what we in here for? I mean, we locked in the cell. I thought one of us wasn't supposed to come up out of here. You know, like I said, it's my first time. If you kill somebody in the joint, they either gonna give you the death penalty or you're never getting out that motherfucker. Now at the time, you know, I didn't really give a damn. You know, because, you know, when you mad, you ain't really thinking about nothing like that. Like, you know, you worry about that shit later. Right now, I'm handling this shit right now. So, anyway, they get out of there. Jose go in there, he shake the dude, dude wake up, and they go get him some water. Now, what the fuck some water gonna do with somebody that passed out? But I don't know. I guess when you in jail, we ain't nobody no doctor, so they revived his ass with some water. So when he finally come up, he catch his breath and everything else, he said, "I want to go again." I still ain't caught my breath. By this time, man, Jose get involved and everything else, and said, "Nigga, you want to go with me? You want to go with the champ? You ain't got no business taking this shit any fucking way." And I'm like, man, I don't need no motherfucker to take care of me. I'll get in that cell and go with that nigga. So Jose slipped me a knife. So we get ready to go back in that cell again. He see that knife. He said, man, I'm sorry. I don't want no problems, man. I ain't going back in the cell with you. And I'm really glad that I had to go back in there, man, because thinking back, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I really didn't want to have to go in there and stab that dude to death over some pictures, over a bitch that I knew was only gonna last for about 6 months. Because once you got a girl, man, after you in there, she ain't gonna last that long, man. Once she find out, I mean, you got 20 years or something like that. At that time, man, I had 15-year sentences, man, because I was charged with 3 counts of assault and 3 ACAs. So I couldn't expect that woman to do her life waiting on me. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It wasn't realistic. So the bottom line of it is, man, when you first get in there, you don't really know what you're gonna have to expect. And no matter how tough you think you are, no matter how cool you are gonna get tried. And my advice to you is that when you get in that situation, you better just take your ass whooping. If you have to do that, than to go in there and be branded a coward for your whole bit. So having said that, man, I appreciate you listening to that story. I got a lot more for you, man. Like, subscribe, and I do want to do a special shout out to Royce K, Jerry K, and my daughter for helping me, you know, put together these videos, and hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more. So always remember, man, it is what it is unless you handle your business.